DorkLair.
Welcome to another DorkLair action figure review. Today I'm taking a look at the Mythic Legion's Dorina Onoris. Dorina was part of the PowerCon 2020 debut figures, the two tributes to Masters of the Universe, this of course being She-Ra, and it was coupled with the Hordak figure that I reviewed a couple days ago. And they put these out for sort of an early release because PowerCon was, of course, canceled under the circumstances. And we were able to order these online. So got these early, even though they are also in the All-Stars 3 wave. So that wave will be coming down the pike eventually if you didn't get a chance to grab the figure here. Overall, it's a solid release. The paint is really clean, very crisp. It definitely captures that She-Ra look. I mean, it is pretty on point when it comes to that, and some clever moves they did to actually kind of get that going. And there's a couple parts here that are brand new to me, so it's nice to get those in the collection as well. But yeah, overall, it's a solid release. I think even though it does have a cartoony look to it, I think it will still kind of mix in well. She's almost godlike. Like, she could potentially be a god among these figures on the shelf. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, anyway, let's get into this review. For packaging, we got the typical single-carded figure box right here. The same box that they've been using. On the side, you have her bio. And then on the back, though, they do have the new card back. So that's pretty cool to see a little change up there. They're using the artwork, Nate Barch art from that he did for the Ogre Scale figures. And then you have that Wasteland Wave on the back there. So pretty sweet packaging. You can slide this piece out and back in, and you have yourself a very easily receivable. I took the insert out just so it looks, you can see it a little bit better here. But you can put that insert back in, put the figure back in, and then of course on the side, she is a member of the House of the Noble Bear. Let's take a look at Dorina. So she has an amazing head sculpt. The Freya head sculpt is awesome. I don't have that figure, so this is my first time experiencing this head. Obviously, it's painted differently than the Freya head, but wow. The face, the intensity in this look, and just the beauty of the sculpt work and the paint work on that face is amazing. I'm just super impressed with this head sculpt. And then all of the little details up in the sculpt work of the wings, of the helmet itself. Now, these wings do not pop off. I'm going to try to experiment with that and figure out if they are glued in, if I can heat it up and pull them out or what. But we're going to just look at the figure first before I get into any of that kind of thing. But then you have this sort of scroll work sculpted into the top of the helmet, and just all that fine detail in this piece of hair that has these braids that's inserted there. Just absolutely stunning head sculpt. I'm really happy to have this in my collection now. Even if I do kit bashes and stuff, it's going to be an awesome helmet, awesome head, to have. And then all that same gold that has it has a very slight metallic-y thing. It's almost like this weird clay type of metallic look to it. But it does have a little sparkle to it, and you really get to see that when you look at the shield. That paint on the shield has that sparkle, but just a little bit of something there in the gold. And the details work is amazing. And I think that's kind of where, she might not be as accessorized as some other figures, but the paintwork, all these little dots, all these little rivets and buttons and things. Of course, you have the gemstone, and you have, again, same thing, rivets painted here. The white is pretty much a straight up white, but you can see here mixed in is some metallic silver here on the sides. Lots of just little details that when you first glimpse it and you're like, oh, kind of a cartoony look, it's She-Ra. You don't really notice those things until you start getting a really closer look. And then you got more gems painted in there. Got 2 blue and then 1 silver on the gauntlet. You even have the straps. Those are sometimes not even painted. Those are painted on this one. Bringing it down to the boots. Those straps match up right here as well. Just awesome detail on the paintwork here. And again, it comes off as kind of simplistic and sort of flat or whatever, but in hand, it is very much a like a top end kind of like paint job on the figure. So very impressed with that. You know, she's on the typical 2.0 female kind of warrior body with the bare arms and the bare upper legs, and then you have sort of like some elven, mostly elven parts with like the boots, gauntlets. I think that chest piece, the torso, the lower torso, I think is typical of like the elves and vampires. And then you have that skirt there. One thing I don't like about the figure is that this particular skirt doesn't come down very far in the back, so you can't. It just doesn't look right in the back there because you can see the middle crotch piece there, and then the legs connected. So it's not really a good look back there. Luckily, she's got the cape to cover that up, but yeah, that's one of the little things about that particular sculpt or combination of parts that's not that great. But other than that, I mean, it's just a beautiful looking figure. All right, let's take a look at Dorina with a couple other figures. Now, I already kit bashed my Lord Dragool, and this is sort of the outcome. There's a third figure. So I took, basically I made this guy. I took Lord Dragool and I turned him into like a Fury Knight using Fury Orc parts and Brother Mandibulus. So there was 3 figures involved, and there's a third one, but it's just not on my table right now. And then this is pretty much straight up Lord Dragool with Fury Orc like armor and stuff. And then a couple other Mythic Legions female warriors. We have Thalen Frostbow on the left, and we have the Skeleton Warrior 2.0 on the right. And a couple princesses from other lines. We have the SH Figuarts Princess Leia, obviously super tiny compared to Mythic Legions. And then we have the Mezco Wonder Woman, who I think is shorter, but not crazy small compared to Legions 2.0. And then finally, so that you can get a sense of the matchup of colors here, I have the Modern She-Ra retro repack figure that came out, I don't know, a couple years ago. But you can see like they did a really good job of kind of matching everything up. You can't see the hair very well in this angle, but you know, that's like the only thing that's kind of hidden in the back to really get that matching look. But overall pretty good. Maybe she's a little bit lighter in the skin tone. But generally, I mean, that's She-Ra. She's a little light on accessories. She does come with the shield. I like it. I actually, this is one of my favorite shields. I do like this style, and then it's painted well with some metallics. She also comes with the sword, and it's painted like the power sword, so it's got like that little gemstone in there, similar to this one right here. So that matches up pretty well. And then she comes with the elf head, pretty standard piece. Like if you have the elf builder, it's a very similar thing. I think that one has green ears, but they use it for the vampires as well. And then she's got the strap, and she doesn't come with those little insert adapter pieces for her back. I wonder if they're going to kind of phase those out a little bit because people have like bags and bags of those things. But yeah, the strap too. I don't really know that. Unless I'm kit bashing, like I don't really know that I would have her with the strap anyway. But yeah, so kind of a little light on the accessories. Essentially 3 items: shield, sword, and extra head. Okay, so for articulation, I'm going to do the head twice. I'm going to show the articulation with both heads just because this one is so limited by the wings and the hair and everything else. You can't really move it back at all. If you go to the side, you can move it up just a little bit. And that hair will flex and get around things, so you can turn it side to side, and she can look down with this head. So she can look straight and then down a bit. So there's a little bit of movement in that head, and then let me show you how it looks with the elf head. And you're definitely going to get more movement out of this because there's nothing getting in the way. So that head can look up and then down, and it can cock side to side, things that the other head really can't do. And of course, just like the other head, it can twist. I guess technically also an accessory are the shoulder pauldrons. And those, of course, are just like other Mythic Legions where they're pegged in there on the back. So you can move those and get her arms all the way out and then bring them back down, and they can swing around. At the elbow, single joint can come up a little bit past 90 degrees, and then the elbow can also turn. She's nice and stiff. I like it. I like that her joints are stiff because oftentimes these 2.0 figures can get really loose. She does have some looseness in the feet, but generally she's pretty tight, which is very nice. Lots of great motion in that chest there, and then the waist is on a peg and it swivels, and mine kind of pops off very easily. It's not problematic. It's just, sometimes when I'm articulating it and twisting it, it just sort of pops off naturally, but it goes back on just fine. But that's just a twist. If you kind of fudge it, and I think maybe it's because there's some gumminess going on in some of these parts, but if you kind of fudge it forward, you can have her crunching forward on that peg. So if you want to get a pose, you can have it cocked forward, even though technically it's just a twist. The legs can go out into the splits. She can kick forward, she can kick back, and then you can bend the knee, and then below the knee you can twist. At the foot will point down, and this is the motion that's kind of loose. This is a little bit looser than I would like for getting her to stand nicely on a shelf, but point down, point up, and then you get the rocker, and the foot can spin all the way around. So 2.0 female body articulation is pretty decent. It's better than the 1.0 figures. Definitely a little quirky with the feet that on a lot of these just rock forward, and they're problematic with tipping over on the shelf. But yeah, and then I guess I didn't really talk about the cape. It's nothing to write home about. I don't have it pegged in right because of the way the hair pins it down. I don't really need to pin those in, but there's multiple holes where you can kind of double up on the holes, or you can put some through the arms. Lots of options for pegging that on there. So yeah, it just kind of hides it behind there. And even though this isn't the best quality cape, I'm hoping that they will be doing some improvements, because they have been using designer C. Jessam for their Super 7 designs. So hopefully that will carry over, and they'll bring some of his work into the Mythic Legion stuff, and we might see some improved cape designs, maybe some hoods and cloaks and stuff like that for the Mythic Legions, in addition to their work for other companies. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this figure. I love that head sculpt. The paintwork is just very crisp. Definitely more of a cartoony look, but I think she'll look okay. She'll look almost godlike on the shelf with the other Mythic Legions. Of course, if you collect the Masters tributes, she's going to look awesome just mixed in with the rest of them, and of course with Hordak. So great release, fantastic figure. Very happy to have it in my collection. And until next time, may the Force be with you.
Follow me into the door.